Hey friends, this is the Miss Wolfie from our Half Acre Homestead, and today we're going to make apple rhubarb oatmeal squares. Okay, so what you're going to need is, here's the ingredients for the crust. A cup of packed brown sugar, a cup and a half of rolled oats, I like the large flake, a half a cup of ground nuts, I'm using pecans, a half a pound or 1 cup of butter, 1.5 cups of flour, and some vanilla. Now for our filling, 1 cup of dried apple slices, 3 cups of chopped rhubarb, cup and a half of sugar, and 2 tablespoons of the starch of your choice. I'm using tapioca, plus vanilla. Let's get started. First things first, let's make our crust. And I'm going to take our half pound of butter and I'm just going to rub it all over the inside of my pan. Give it a bit of a grease. This is a 9x13 glass Pyrex dish. And we're going to start with our crust. Let's start with the oatmeal. Thank you, son. The half a cup of crushed pecans. 1.5 cups of flour, our 1 cup of packed brown sugar, and here's our half a pound of softened butter, and we're just gonna kind of cut this all in to a crumble. Okay, we've got it mixed into a really nice moist crumble, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of vanilla there. I love the smell of that vanilla. Now I just took regular pecans and ground them into a flour kind of, and then, you know, there's a chunk here and there. It's not going to matter. Whoever gets the half a pecan will think they won a prize. Okay, so now we're going to take half of this and press it into our 9x13 pan. And we've set our oven, see there's a half a pecan. We've set our oven to 350 degrees, and we're going to bake this for 15 to 20 minutes while we get our rhubarb ready. Okay, now let's start cutting up our rhubarb. Papa cut this, or broke this last night. I did not even know, folks, that I had rhubarb. Well, I kind of knew, but last time I looked, it's up by the road, and the last time I looked, there was only 1 stalk or 2 stalks. Let's get some of this skin off here. So I never bothered with it until Papa was up there yesterday, and he said, you know, we got a patch of rhubarb? And I said, yeah, we got a little rhubarb plant. And he said, no, there's a patch. So he picked it for me. And we're not huge rhubarb fans, but you know what? Free food is free food. And we're going to see what we can make out of it. Now, I have quite a bit here, so whatever doesn't get used in this, I will stew up and put in a jar for Nan to take home for Jim, or so she can have on a little bit of ice cream or whatever. When Papa gets home from work tonight, I'm going to have him go dig up those rhubarb roots and replant them in my perennial garden with my asparagus and my chives and my onions and all that fun stuff. Oh, time to put our crust in the oven. We'll be back when I have this all cut up. Okay, let's get this together before we take it to the stove. There is my 1 cup of dehydrated apples. There's 3 cups of chopped rhubarb. Now I have taken some of the strings off just because I don't like the stringy material in my sauce. And we're going to add a 1/4 cup of water. That's all, because this stuff will put off a lot of juice, and one of the reasons why I've used dried apples. And our 1.5 cups of sugar. And our 2 tablespoons of starch. I'm using tapioca starch. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Let's go over to the stove and stew this down. Okay, so now we've got this on high, and we're just going to, actually we're going to turn this down a little bit to about medium, And we just want this to stew because it looks really dry, folks, but that rhubarb is full of water. I'm going to say it's about 70% water, like celery. So that 1/4 cup of water is all we're going to need. Now, if you want some color to this because there's no strawberries in it, you can add a little bit of food coloring. I'm not going to worry about it. All right, we'll be back when this is stewed down. Okay, now our rhubarb and apples have stewed, and the apples are still nice and firm, but they're also soft. They're softening very nicely, and that will help soak up a lot of the juice. So now we've taken our crust out of the oven, and we're just going to pour this right over top. Spread our apples out nice and even, and we're going to take our crumble topping, and we're just going to sprinkle this all over the top. You can pack it down if you like, but this is pretty soft, runny stuff, folks. So you may want it crumbled so that the top gets crusty and underneath soaks up more of the juice. Just like that. And then we'll pat it down. Now this looks pretty full, folks, so I think I'm going to put this on a cookie sheet just so that if it bubbles over, it doesn't mess my oven. But this is going in the oven for another 20 minutes. And there is our beautiful rhubarb apple crumble. Daddy's working on the pool, and he'll have his dessert after, so Nan is going to be our taste tester. Ooh, look at that. A little bit, if I'd have cooked that a little bit thicker,
Yeah.
it probably would have been a barb, but it's still warm because we want ice cream to melt on our bar. So it's not going to look as pretty.
Oh.
Who cares, man?
I care.
Oh, you care. I'm sorry.
Look at that. Okay, Nan, here's your apple rhubarb crumble.
Very good.
Awesome. Thanks, Mom.
Very good. Tasty.
Good. This is the Miss Volpe from our half-acre homestead saying apple rhubarb crumble. It's delicious. Take care. God bless.